Good afternoon, my turtle ducks. Just in time for tea. Please help yourself. I've got sugar and honey and cream or lemon. And we've got jam and butter for the tea cookies. I thought today we might discuss compliments, both giving and receiving. I have witnessed a gracious number of fumbled compliments given. I have both witnessed and fumbled the receiving of compliments quite regularly. So I thought a few helpful tips on the proper etiquette of compliments might be helpful to anyone who is bursting with the desire to give positive comments and those who regularly receive compliments and have no idea how to respond. First, who can give a compliment? Well, contrary to a lot of online rhetoric, anyone can give a compliment. However, if we want those compliments to be well received, there are some extreme compliment faux pas that we need to avoid. We must always be conscious both of how we are perceived by society at large and how we are perceived in our day-to-day lives. There will always be social dynamics to keep in mind when delivering a compliment. For example, your dear Baba is a member of the masculine presenting cohort, and thus I have to contend with the stereotypes less conscientious members of my cohort have set for me. I do have the benefit of looking almost nothing like my gender stereotype. I am slight and short. My hair is long. I am inherently unthreatening. Now, let us consider Papa, who is considerably taller, broader, and regularly has a very serious expression. Though he too possesses long hair, he is considerably more imposing when approaching members of the more feminine cohort. It is important to remember that members of the feminine cohort are constantly bombarded with inappropriate comments and unwanted suggestions, so do not be offended if the shields come up immediately upon approach. On the other hand, sometimes we wish to applaud the masculine cohort for something we view as a very astute choice about their person. It is important to remember that the masculine cohort has been trained not to receive compliments on anything outside of physical prowess, but with an appropriate compliment, we may even approach this cohort with genuine esteem-boosting observations. It is important to remember that certain places are not appropriate for certain kinds of compliments. While a very quick observation may be delivered at almost any point, there are a few specific places where compliments should always be withheld. When a person is at their job and clearly quite busy, they are to be left to their work. Funerals are also a poor choice of time to be delivering compliments. One should be delivering condolences. Anytime a person appears to be in quite a rush, they should be left about their business. When to give a compliment can be equally important. It is quite impolite to interrupt two people in conversation for any reason, particularly if you're unknown to those people. In cases where a compliment simply must be delivered, wait patiently, within sight, but not within their personal space. When they acknowledge you, say, "I'm sorry to interrupt, but I really had to say," and then deliver whatever compliment was so dire it was worth waiting for. If you are passing someone on the street, try to give the compliment before they have passed by. Do not chase after someone to deliver a compliment like a dropped wallet. This can be considered quite intimidating. The perfect time to deliver compliments are at social events, professional meetings, and in everyday life between friends and acquaintances. Appropriate compliments will differ depending on the situation. Now that we have gone over the basics of where and when, it's time to dive into what. What do you think makes a good compliment? Feel free to pause the video and write down a few things you think make for a good compliment. Do you have some ideas? Let's see if you're correct. Good compliments are focused on skills, good qualities a person possesses, or good choices they have made. Skills are typically something that we do, that we have developed our abilities over long practice. An artist who produces lovely work is a skilled artist. An athlete who constantly performs well is a skilled athlete. Someone who is a compelling debater is a skilled orator. Good qualities are usually more personality-based. A young child who always says please and thank you has the good quality of manners. Someone who regularly offers their assistance has the good quality of helpfulness. A coworker who keeps their space reasonably tidy and rarely disappears without warning has the good quality of being conscientious of their coworkers. Compliments over skills and good qualities are almost never amiss. Everyone likes to have their achievements noticed. Those who have worked hard on honing their skills deserve recognition for their work, and it is always nice to bring attention to a positive quality you think really shines in a person. Choices become a little bit more muddled as the category is much larger. Choices may range anywhere from appreciating where someone has decided to eat to the kind of dishware in their home and everything in between. Haircuts, clothing, even partners are a form of choice, though the level of familiarity dictates how personal one might be with compliments relating to another's choices. While complimenting someone's hair is generally acceptable behavior, complimenting their choice of romantic or sexual partners is best left between close friends or other romantic and sexual partners. Now that we know what to do, let us define what is not appropriate to focus on for a compliment. First and foremost, one should not focus specifically on the body. A body is not something a normal person has much control over. Too much is based on genetics and upbringing, and therefore little choice was made, rarely is any skill implemented, and it usually has no bearing on good qualities. So we should ignore this, save for a few exceptions, with our own romantic or sexual partners, or to help the confidence of very close friends. To an even greater extent than our bodies, we have no control over how desirable other people find us. We may dress however we like, but ultimately, there will be swaths of people who find us attractive and swaths who do not. Therefore, it is not really a compliment to tell someone they are your type. It is centering the comment around yourself, which does nothing for the person to whom the compliment was made. These are not compliments, they are statements. Well, those are quite a lot of rules. How about we have some examples? Here is our scenario. We are at an event where artists are present and their work showcased. We see a piece that we simply adore and we wish to express our adoration to the artist. Your first thought may be to remark, "You're so talented." It has often been my go-to for artists. However, I have learned that artists do not actually like this compliment very much, as it downplays the work they did to become an artist in favor of some imagined, on our part, gift. Instead, it is better to pick a quality of the art we find striking. The colors you chose are so beautiful. This character looks amazing. That pose is so difficult, and you made it look so good. These are all extremely defined that focus on the skill of the artist, and thus make better compliments in general. Never say, "I wish I could draw that good." It sounds like a compliment, but again, we are centering ourselves and pulling attention from the artist we wish to compliment. Let's do another. Perhaps you have a neighbor whose children regularly pass your house, and whenever they do, if there is trash in your yard, they pick it up, or they close your mailbox when it is open. You may remark, either to them or their parents, about how helpful they are, or what conscientious youths they are. You may even compliment the parents at the same time. What helpful children you have raised. This compliments both the children for being helpful and the parents who spent time practicing the art of parenting. Let's look at choices this time, as this seems to be the place many people stumble. We are out and about in the world, and we see someone we would consider very attractive. They are wearing a tight shirt with some sort of graphic that we admire upon it, a nice coat, interesting shoes, and their hair is very ornate. There is only one of these qualities that we should not focus on. Can you recall which one? If you said that we find them attractive, you are correct. We may remark upon the shirt, the coat, the shoes, or hair, as these are all choices they have made. In these situations, it may be advisable to be less descriptive. Unlike with the artist, a simple, "I like your shirt," or "Those shoes are cool," is sufficient, particularly when passing a stranger. While it may seem that the most elaborate compliments are the best truly conveying your meaning, sometimes a simple, "I think this is neat," or "You look cool," is really all you need to provide. Did you know that asking for a picture is a form of a compliment? That you think they look so cool, you want a picture to remember how cool they looked? Well, much of what we've discussed previously is applicable to this. The only difference being that you must always ask permission to take a picture, and that you are not entitled to a photo just because you have asked for one. If someone accepts, take their photo and thank them for it. If they reject, thank them for their time and do not push further. Most often, after a quick compliment has been delivered, you need do nothing else. You may exit as quickly as you entered. If you interrupted a conversation to interject your compliment, apologize for the interruption, then leave. If you would like to use a compliment as a segue into a conversation, then after giving your compliment, use it as a jumping off point for asking questions. Recall our earlier tea about conversations? Once the compliment is given, you may supplement questions regarding other intriguing observations of that person. You can also offer your shared interest, using the example above, the graphic on the shirt, the kind of shoes, outfit, or hairstyle, to engage that person in conversation. Finally, let us contemplate the most difficult part, receiving a compliment. Let's discuss the unpleasant ones first. It is an unfortunate fact of life that many people are not taught how to give a good compliment, and some people simply do not care. Their objective is to make you feel bad. In such cases, we have 3 potential rebuttals and 1 potential action. We'll go with the action first, as it's the simplest. Make no response and leave. Sometimes the safest and most efficient way to shut down an inappropriate comment is to leave the area, thus showing your displeasure without engaging. Now for our responses. The first option we have is polite but snappy. This can border on being considered short. For example, if somebody makes a comment upon our features that was not asked for, we may respond that their criticism has been noted, but as we are already out and about, unhelpful. Someone making an inappropriate remark about something we have worked hard on could be challenged with, "By all means, please show me how to do it properly." Polite but dismissive is probably easier. Rather than attempting to confront the comment, it simply sidesteps the issue. Returning to our previous example, a comment leveled upon our features could be rebuffed simply with something along the lines of, "I wasn't aware you were paying," or "Thankfully, it is not up to you." For our second example, you might use, "Feel free to go elsewhere," or "I wasn't aware I had asked." Finally, in some situations, appropriate retaliation is prudent. Specifically, in professional and academic situations, particularly inappropriate comments should be reported to a third responsible party, such as a manager, if the manager is not the offender, or human resources. Reports should always be submitted with copies, so email is preferable. In academic situations, the school's administration should be able to direct you to the appropriate channels. If the offending comments were made in any sort of digital media, make sure to get copies for the report. Some may say you were being rude to whomever was the offender, but in reality, you are showing a great deal of manners for others who may experience this problem. A record of negative behavior means future reports will be taken more seriously. With that, let's turn to how to respond to a good compliment. Honestly, this may be the more difficult one, as chronic low self-esteem mixed with our society's push towards self-humbling often frames compliments, even good ones, in an awkward or opposing light. First, if someone gives you a compliment for something you agree with, such as a skill you are proud of, a trait you have worked hard to cultivate, or a choice you have made, it is important to say thank you. You may, after expressing gratitude, expound, such as, "Thank you, I worked quite hard," or "Thank you, I'm really happy with my choice." Now for positive compliments that you may not agree with, the most common one I've seen rebuffed is, "You're such a good person," or "I really like X feature about you." In a world of body dysmorphia and imposter syndrome, these compliments can feel hollow or just false. But it's important to remember the way we view ourselves is not always how those who interact with us view us. A compliment genuinely given on your character or on features by close friends or partners should not be rebuffed. Instead of saying something like, "I don't think so," or "No, I'm not," try the following instead. For traits you work on or would like to embody, you can use, "I try." If it is something you truly do not believe, you can use the following: "I appreciate your opinion," and "I'm glad you think so." This does not inherently agree with the other person's point of view, but neither does it invalidate it. Phew, that was kind of a lot, wasn't it? Why don't we do a short review of the key points? Be conscious of yourself and the people you are complimenting. Remember, there are times and places where certain or all compliments are not appropriate. A good compliment focuses on things within a person's control. There are ways to accept a compliment without necessarily agreeing with its premise. Well, I think that's all the time I have today. I should get back to work. Thank you for joining me. Until next time, be kind, my turtle ducks, to others and to yourselves.